This story is called Fountain Avenue.
Oh!
All right. In the early 90s, my two friends, Maggie and Hal, had a beautiful Spanish-style house in Los Feliz on Franklin Avenue near Western, tucked behind some trees and just below the campus of the American Film Institute. They're a gracious and creative couple who achieved some success as actors, mostly in voiceovers. And they could afford a stylish home with lots of character and charm. I was perpetually single, struggling to find enough acting work to afford a tiny, cheap 3-room guest house in funky Mar Vista. It was just before a long holiday weekend that Maggie and Hal asked if I could house sit for them. I was always willing to house sit for my more successful friends. It meant I could enjoy some luxurious digs. I imagined who I might innocently invite over for a glass of wine, and then try to seduce by asking if they'd like to sit in the jacuzzi, or go for a swim in the pool, or see the master suite with the amazing city view. With enough clothes packed for a long weekend, I drove to Maggie and Hal's, taking my then favorite east-west route, Fountain Avenue. It was about 11 p.m. when my trusty little Honda Civic hatchback made it to the corner near Gower and Fountain. My Honda was the first car that I ever bought brand new, so I had a special attachment to it. I even named it, something that I never do with objects or body parts. He was a goldish beige color and felt like a reward after driving so many crappy cars in my life. So I named him Oscar. He had a big windshield that allowed me a wide view of everything in front of me while driving. He was roomy and spacious inside and drove like a sports car, nimble and fast. I always felt safe and secure inside Oscar. As I approached the intersection, I heard 2 gunshots. At least I thought they were gunshots. They sounded like gunshots, but in LA it's hard to tell. They could have been a car backfiring or fireworks, which can go off at any time, for any reason, 4th of July or not. On the second shot, I saw my windshield get hit. The lower left-hand corner splintered into a spider web of shattered glass. I slammed on the brakes and I jolted up in my seat. My eyes darted around in all directions, but I couldn't see anyone. The street was empty of people. I snapped my head around to see if someone was behind me, and then I noticed that the back window was blasted out. I put pedal to the metal, and Oscar and I tore down the street to escape. As I drove away, I noticed a cigarette-length piece of foam sitting on top of the dashboard. I slowed down and I pulled over. I was breathing like I had just run a marathon. I leaned forward to pick up the piece of foam, and I was trying to figure out how it got there when I felt a warm sensation on my neck. I turned the overhead light on, and I looked in the rearview mirror to get a better look and saw a scrape along the side of it. Oh. Confused, I started checking the interior of the car for any other strange debris. There was a hole in the right side of my headrest. It must be the hold left by the foam that... Oh my God! The whole picture came together in slow motion, and I let out this terrified howl. A bullet went through the back window, through the headrest, pushing out the foam as it grazed my neck and hit the windshield as it flew out of the car. It was a wonder that I didn't black out during this surreal drive to Maggie and Hal's. I was freaking out, shaking, my body jacked up on the adrenaline coursing through my veins. When I arrived at the house, I kept touching my face and body. I wanted proof that I was still here on Earth, alive. Then I went straight to the liquor cabinet and poured myself a big vodka. My mind was reeling at the thought that I had literally dodged a bullet. But how? What kept me from leaning 3 more inches to the right? Was it luck? Whatever the hell that means? Was it a guardian angel? I've lost too many people to believe in angels. I mean, they're great, and if they do exist, they need much better superpowers. Was there a grand cosmic reason for all of this? Was surviving this horror supposed to make me a better person, more grateful and inspired to be alive? What? I wanted some immediate answers. I wanted a logical explanation for what seemed to be a totally random occurrence. After a short while, the vodka kicked in. I started to calm down and think things through. It's LA. Shit happens. I'm not immune to tragedy. No one gets off this planet alive. A little more vodka, and it became, fuck this town. I shouldn't have to struggle like this and house sit for anyone. I should be a big star by now with my own Spanish-style house and have some poor actor friend house sit for me. I finally called 911, realizing that I had to stop drinking or I'd end up slurring my report to the police. The officers I spoke to asked if I wanted to request a squad car to check out the area where the shots had been heard, but what was the point? Whoever scared me shitless or was trying to kill me would have been long gone. I was born and raised in Los Angeles. I sometimes joke that I grew up drinking LA tap water, breathing LA smog, and swimming in the Santa Monica Bay, so nothing can kill me. I've been mugged 4 times in this town as a result of some shitty karma I created back in my 20s. I've indulged in my share of risky sex and drugs, and I've known dozens of people who went through a lot less and didn't make it. So, rhyme and reason, I don't give them much weight. I could just as easily believe in miracles and magic. But I do feel like someone or something wants me to stick around. And I'm eternally grateful for that. Or maybe it's all coincidence, I really don't know. In any case, I feel it's my duty to always be of service to others. It's the least that I can do. So, does anyone need a ride home after the show? I'll be taking Fountain.